Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Muhammad Khairul. I'm from JA 5E. My group consists of Naufal, AZAMI, Nurfahmi, Aida, adani, and anisah. And we will present to you about test administration.
Hi, I'm Adani.
Hi, I'm Anisah.
Hi, I'm Fahmi.
I'm Qayyim. Naufal.
Okay lah, boleh lah.
In this case, I will talk to you about Dr. Khairul. He worked as medical director since 2015 until 2018. He earned a salary of RM3,000 per monthly, and he continued to study at UKM and majoring in genealogical surgery until end of the year. Then he continued to working at HUKM and earned RM4,500 per month. Now, since in year 2015, he never paid any tax and never filled out any written form. So he was shocked as he received a notice from IRB asking him to pay penalties due to his failure to furnish a written form BE under section 77 subset 1 of ITA 1967. Yeah. He then referred to his friend Kamal, who currently works as a tax officer in IRB, and our group will act as Kamal in this case to help Dr. Khairul to solve his situation.
In Malaysia, we use a system called self-assessment system, whereby the taxpayers have to pay for the tax on set dates without waiting for the human resource revenue to demand this. There is two types of self-assessment, which is self-assessment for individuals and self-assessment for company, limited liability partnership, trust bodies or cooperative societies. In Dr. Khairul's case, it is related to the self-assessment for individuals. In self-assessment for individuals, the taxpayer is responsible to compute his own tax payable, chargeable income, and also making any payments of any balance of tax due. The self-assessment will be based on calendar year basis for the period of year of assessment. First, Dr. Khairul has to determine whether he is eligible to pay for the tax. According to Inland Revenue Board of Malaysia, Malaysian individual who receive an amount of 34,000 of salary annually has to register a tax file. And chargeable person is the person who derives income from Malaysia and he is accessible to tax. Okay, so this is to be concluded that Dr. Khairul is eligible as a taxpayer since he received RM3,000 as his salary and the total salary received by him exceeding 34,000 after deducting the EPF. Chargeable income is your taxable income minus with any tax deduction and tax relief. So, the tax rate will be increased as your chargeable income increase. The more you reduce your chargeable income, like through tax relief and tax deduction, the lesser your final tax amount will be. Since Dr. Khairul has never registered himself as a taxpayer, so Dr. Khairul has to register himself as a taxpayer for the first time. The step is he need to go to the IRB office and register as a taxpayer and he need to bring along a copy of his IC, the latest salary slip, and merit certification if he has. Or he may go to the e-daftar and do the register process online. He will need a digital copy of IC to be uploaded. Then he need to physically go to the nearest IRB office to get the PIN number that will use in the e-filing registration.
Dr. Ariel must complete the written form using electronic filing. Every individual in Malaysia, including resident or non-resident who is liable to tax, is required to declare his income to Inland Revenue Board of Malaysia, known as IRBM. Taxpayer is responsible to submit income tax return form (ITRF) and make income tax payment yearly prior to due date. Taxpayer can start submitting their income tax return forms through the e-filing system starting from March 1st every year, unless otherwise announced by LHDN. The taxpayer has to complete and submit proper type of form depending on the individual status and source of income. There is two types of status resident which need to applicable form for Dr. Ariel needs to submit applicable form BE, which is resident who is on employment and other income. Other applicable form, which is form B, is for resident who carry on business and other income. Dr. Ariel does not carry any other business, therefore the applicable form he needs to submit is form BE. Next, e-filing. Easy Hasil e-filing is the most convenient way to submit income tax return form. The deadline for filing income tax in Malaysia is 30th April for manual filing and 15 May via e-filing. When he already have the PIN from LHDN or an account for e-filing, Dr. Ariel can proceed to LHDN's official website according to this step using e-filing. First step is to log in to the e-filing website. Since Dr. Ariel is a first timer, he must click on login kali pertama, then fill in the PIN number and identity card number to register for an account. Second step is choose the right income tax form, which is form BE. Third step, check personal details and make changes if the form is displaying incorrect information or does not display in the latest information. Next step is to fill in income details according to Dr. Ariel's information. And next is fill in tax relief, tax rebates, and tax exemption. Sixth step is check total taxes that are due or tax return. And last step is to declare, sign, and submit the e-filing.
When a chargeable person submits his return, Director General may accept the return or he may reject and determine the tax payable based on the best of his judgment. An assessment is a notice in writing issued by the tax authorities to the chargeable person that contains the amount of income tax payable, and the assessment notice is known as Form J. The Director General is deemed to have made assessment on the day return is submitted to the assessment branch. The return submitted is deemed to be a notice of assessment. The amount of tax assessed is the amount stated in the tax return submitted to the assessment branch.
So, based on the situation, Dr. Ariel have done some wrong things. So, he will liable to a penalty. Firstly, he never pay an income tax from his previous work year. So, by doing that, he never fill out any written form.
So, under provision of Section 112, subsection 1, Income Tax Act 1967, Dr. Khairul will be liable to a fine of 200 ringgit, not less than 200 ringgit, and not more than 2000 ringgit, or he will be imprisonment by the provision of Section 112, subsection 1, Income Tax Act 1967. Dr. Khairul will be liable to a fine 200 ringgit, not less than 200 ringgit, and not more than 2000 ringgit, or he will be imprisonment or both. Okay, after that, Dr. Khairul have never paid any income tax from the previous year, so he will liable to Section 112, subsection 1, which is he will be fined not less than 200 ringgit and not more than 2000 ringgit, or he will be imprisonment or both. Okay, lastly, because of the income tax that he never paid, it will be considered as late payment tax. So, because of the late payment, Dr. Khairul will be charged 10% of the unpaid tax, and he will be charged another 5% of the tax due if he still didn't pay the tax after 61 days.
Next is appeal. The self-assessment scheme requires taxpayers to calculate their income tax payable in accordance with the tax laws and practice of the IRB. When there is a departure from IRB practice or a High Court decision, the taxpayer must at the same time reject his own assessment and submit an appeal letter to the tax authorities. This is because the return submitted is considered to be an evaluation notice. Companies, trust entities, limited liabilities partnerships, and cooperative companies are required to submit their return forms within the 7 months after the closing of the accounting period, which constitute the basis period for the YA in Section 77A, paragraph 1. Taxpayers other than corporation, trust bodies, and cooperatives are, however, expected to file the taxes no later than 30th June of the year following the YA, unless they receive business income, or 30 April for other taxpayers. If there is no agreement on disputed tax matters between the taxpayers and the IRB, the taxpayer shall exercise its right to appeal for redress to the Special Commissioner and the courts. The same appeal procedure shall apply if the tax authorities issue a notice of additional assessment, which is Form JA, upon receipt of a tax return from the taxpayer or upon completion of the tax audit. Right to appeal. If a taxpayer is unhappy with the deemed assessment notice or additional assessment, he must write to the tax authorities to object within 30 days from the date of the deemed assessment notice in Section 99, subsection 1 in Income Tax Act, specifying the ground for opposition. However, when filing a tax return, the taxpayer can appeal. While the Act requires an appeal by a specific form to be filed, in practice, a written letter is considered valid. An additional appeal may be lodged against the Special Commissioner unless the taxpayer and the DG agree on preceding appeal. Taxpayer may also exercise the right to appeal with respect to advanced assessment, additional assessment, and amount refunded. In Khairul's case, He may appeal by submitting Form Q to appeal for reducing his penalty charge for his failure to furnish his Form BE returns. He needs to submit 4 copies of Form Q, which one of it is the original copy, whereas the rest may be photocopied. A completed Form Q must contain the following information, which is detailed grounds of appeal, issues to be trial, date and amount of tax payable as stated in Form JA, relevant documentation or evidence related to B, signed by directors of company or taxpayers, and also may contain other particulars detailed grounds of appeal. Form Q must be signed by Dr. Ariel himself and cannot be signed by tax agent or lawyer. Dr. Ariel must submit a complete Form Q or else it will be returned back to him to be edited. However, Dr. Ariel can also submit Form N if he made an appeal after 30 days from the date of notice of assessment. Form N must be in 2 copies. If the DG satisfied, Dr. Ariel will receive a written notice for the extension of time. If the DG rejects, he will forward the application to Special Commissioner together with the reason why DG did not agree to an extension of time. DG will inform Dr. Ariel in writing, and he needs to make a written representation direct to Special Commissioner within 21 days when receiving the information from the DG. Special Commissioner will decide whether the extension will be granted and the decision will be final. Until then, Dr. Ariel must make appeal to the High Court and to reduce his penalty charge.